Shocking discovery inside Noah's Ark in Turkey stuns the world. Recently, this quest led to a significant discovery that's causing a stir in the global religious community. At a site matching the dimensions of the Ark, ancient items were found, suggesting a connection to the biblical story. What if what they found inside the Ark changes our understanding of history itself? Let's uncover this intriguing mystery that ties together the narratives of the past with the world we live in today. In a remote area near the borders of Iran and Turkey, a major archaeological find has captured global attention and sparked a lot of discussions. A team called the Mount Ararat and Noah's Ark Research Team, which includes members from Turkish and American universities, has been carefully digging at a place called the Jurupina site. This area is famous for its unique rock formations, and local legends say it might be where Noah's Ark ended up, a story shared by Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. As the team dug deeper into a long undisturbed layer of earth, their instruments began to detect unusual readings. The lead archaeologist grew increasingly tense, sensing the significance of the moment. It seemed they might be on the brink of uncovering the first tangible evidence of Noah's Ark. The shape and size of the Jurupina site have fascinated many because it looks like a ship and matches the descriptions of the Ark in the Bible. The site measures around 515 feet long, 85 feet wide, and 49 feet high. They've found artifacts there, dating back to between 5500 and 3000 BC, including clay pieces, marine deposits, and ancient seafood, suggesting this place had significant historical activity, possibly related to the Ark. Searching for Noah's Ark isn't a new idea, people have been trying to find it for centuries. Mount Ararat, which the Bible says is where the Ark came to rest, has been the focus for many explorers. Some have found wood fragments, spotted large boat-like structures, and even taken aerial photos that seem to show the Ark. The Bible describes the Ark as the largest vessel of its time, similar in size to the massive ocean liners we see today. However, the academic community is still doubtful about these claims. While many in Western Christianity strongly believe the Ark is on Mount Ararat, solid proof has been hard to find. Historical accounts differ, with some saying parts of the Ark still exist, while others, like Patakia of Regensburg, believe it has decayed over time. Explorers in the 19th and 20th centuries, like James Bryce, claim to have found wood high on Mount Ararat that could be from the Ark, but many argue that this evidence isn't enough. The latest discoveries at the Jurupina site have renewed interest in the search for Noah's Ark. With modern technology and international cooperation, researchers are finding potential artifacts from the time of the Great Biblical Flood. But they are being careful, saying that more studies are needed before they can confirm any connection to the legendary Ark. As the day ends, the massive Ark seems to quietly share its ancient stories with those who are paying close attention. But this is just the beginning. What more could be hidden within? Ken Ham is working on expanding the Ark encounter to make it even more exciting. He has big plans to build a replica of the Tower of Babel and a model of what Jerusalem might have looked like in Jesus' time. The Tower of Babel is especially exciting because it will include a ride similar to Disney's Haunted Mansion, where visitors will sit and be guided through different historical scenes. The Ark encounter is always changing, with new attractions added every year. There's an indoor area where people can interact with animals, beautiful light displays during Christmas, and an open space where visitors can watch birds flying overhead. Behind the scenes, the park is also involved in interesting activities like growing plants using hydroponics and providing housing for seasonal workers. Building the Ark encounter hasn't been easy. It involved a lot of money, tough negotiations, and careful planning. Special bonds were sold, and local government support was crucial, with tax breaks and improvements to the infrastructure. At the same time, an exciting discovery near Mount Ararat challenged old ideas about Noah's Ark. David Allen Deal introduced a new theory in his book, The Mesha Mountain, suggesting that the Ark didn't land on Mount Ararat but on Mesha Mountain, which is about 17 miles south. According to Deal, it first landed at a high elevation of 7,400 feet. He believes that Noah and his family built the first city after the flood using materials from the Ark. Natural events like earthquakes and rain later caused the Ark to slide down the mountain, leaving clues along the way. Deal's theory is full of interesting details. He thinks the survivors used the Ark's wood to build homes and its tar for waterproofing. The names of places around the mountain, like Misha, which means pulled out of water, and Naxxian, which translates to Noah's Scion, fit this story. The mountain's unique twin peaks, called the Wall of Heaven, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, believed to be where the Ark first landed. In 1996 and 1997, Deal explored the area and found old habitation sites and saw the Wall of Heaven at the spot where he thinks the Ark first landed. The local place names matching the Ark story, along with ancient images and statues of biblical figures like Nama, who is linked to the mountain, add weight to his theory. But even though Deal's findings are fascinating and well thought out, they are just one theory about where Noah's Ark might be. And while the evidence is interesting, scientists are cautious. They say more research is needed before we can be sure about these historical events, which are so closely tied to religious beliefs. The story of Noah's Ark has been a topic of discussion for a long time, especially in Jewish and Christian traditions. Both groups value this story, but they often see its history and meaning in different ways. This difference in interpretation has led to many debates. Early scholars from both faiths, like Flavius Josephus, strongly believed that the Ark was real. However, most modern scientists do not believe in a global flood or the Ark's existence. Some historians think that major floods in areas like the Persian Gulf or the Black Sea might have inspired the story. As this section concludes, the intrigue surrounding Noah's Ark remains, leading us to more adventures that lie ahead in our ongoing quest. But this isn't the only area where these two faiths differ. Discussions about Noah's Ark are just a small part of the larger conversation about how Judaism and Christianity relate to each other. These two religions have a long, intertwined history, and their relationship has been closely examined, especially after significant events like the Holocaust. Biblical scholars often debate how the New Testament refers to Judaism, questioning whether these references are accurate or have been misunderstood over time. The books of Luke and Acts are often at the center of this debate. Although they don't openly criticize Judaism, they do present it in a complex way that invites discussion. Over the years, religious texts have been interpreted in many different ways. Leaders, scholars, and followers of both religions bring their own views, influenced by their personal beliefs, cultures, and the issues of their times. Because of this, the meaning of Noah's Ark and its importance can vary widely, even within Jewish and Christian communities. As researchers and historians continue to study the past, they look for evidence that might support or challenge traditional views of these stories. New discoveries and fresh questions keep the conversation between Judaism and Christianity alive. This ongoing dialogue is part of a broader human search for meaning, connection to history, and an understanding of the sacred texts that have guided these religions for thousands of years. But there's another important topic that often comes up in these religious discussions, the idea of covenant in holy texts. The word covenant is understood differently in the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, showing how the relationship between these two faiths has changed over time. This issue goes beyond just words. It touches on deeper questions, like how closely Christian beliefs are connected to Jewish traditions and whether God's promises are meant to last forever and apply to everyone. The debate over covenant highlights how complex and deep religious texts can be, and how different groups interpret them in various ways. It raises important questions about how permanent and wide-reaching these divine agreements are, and who is included in them. To address these questions, people need a good understanding of religious teachings, a sense of history, and an openness to different points of view. Religious leaders, scholars, and believers spend a lot of time studying, talking about, and sometimes debating these topics. They look at ancient texts, compare translations, and try to understand what the original writers intended. In the flood stories from ancient China and Egypt, we meet characters like Nuwa and the sun god Ra, who either cause or survive massive floods. In these tales, only a few people survive, often chosen by the gods to help restart humanity. A similar theme appears in ancient Greek myths, where Deucalion and Pyrrha are saved by taking refuge in a chest that lands on a high mountain. In Hawaiian legend, Nuwa builds a large canoe to escape a great flood, finally landing on Mauna Kea. One of the oldest stories, the Epic of Gilgamesh, also tells of a great flood, much like the story of Noah. In both stories, the gods decide to wipe out humanity, but they choose one family to survive by building a huge boat and saving various animals. However, there are differences that reflect the societies they came from. For example, Noah is portrayed as righteous, while in the Gilgamesh story, Utanapishtim is chosen for his wisdom. Another ancient flood story, the Atrahasis epic, was discovered in the 19th century and is even older than the Gilgamesh story. It shares many similarities with both the Gilgamesh and Noah stories, such as the anger of the gods, human survival, and a new world after the flood. The Atrahasis and Genesis flood stories are particularly close, with details like warnings before the flood, building an ark, and sending out birds to find dry land. These flood stories from different times and places come together to form a rich collection of tales. Though they come from different cultures and have unique details, they all talk about the power of the gods, the survival of a few people, and a new beginning after a great disaster. This shows that the idea of a world-changing flood leading to a fresh start is a theme that has been widely explored across various cultures. The story of Noah and his ark is a key part of religious history, teaching lessons about faith, obedience, and the connection between humans and the divine. This story has been passed down through generations, reflecting the spiritual beliefs and moral values of people. Its lasting impact on art, literature, and culture shows just how important it has been in shaping human thought and societal values. Noah's Ark also serves as a bridge between the past and present, giving people today a way to connect with their ancient roots. It opens a window into ancient times, allowing us to explore the beliefs, values, and challenges faced by earlier generations. Through this story, we can think about timeless themes like survival, salvation, and the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of great challenges. Often imagined as a huge boat built to specific measurements called cubits and following a divine plan, the story goes into great detail about how the ark was made, what materials were used, and its structure. But it's more than just the creation of a big ship. It represents hope and serves as a symbol of safety during the frightening, dark days of the flood. These tales usually describe a massive flood caused by the gods, with a chosen person or family tasked with restarting humanity and a specially built boat for their survival. The fact that these stories appear in different cultures might suggest a shared memory or understanding of significant floods in ancient times, possibly rooted in real events like the Black Sea flood around 7,500 years ago. Turning our attention from ancient stories to modern implications, we continue to see the echoes of these themes in today's religious practices. But the surprising part is the similarity between Noah's story in the Bible and the Epic of Gilgamesh, a much older tale from Mesopotamia. Both stories involve gods who are unhappy with humans, the building of a large boat to survive a flood, and the release of birds to find dry land. The discovery of the Epic of Gilgamesh and its similarities to the story led people to reconsider where it might have come from, hinting that these ancient flood stories could be connected or have influenced each other. These similarities between Noah's Ark and the Epic of Gilgamesh bring up questions about how stories are passed down and change over time. It seems like these flood stories were ways for different cultures to understand and deal with the devastating floods they experienced or heard about. These stories helped them make sense of their world and cope with the fears and uncertainties that came with big disasters like floods. The Ark, with its 3 levels and many large compartments, held a wide variety of animals. As the floodwaters rose, the Ark became a symbol of hope in a world covered by water. After 40 days of continuous rain, he sent out a dove, which came back with an olive leaf, showing that life was returning. When the waters finally receded, his family and the animals left the ark and stepped onto dry land. Then, God showed a rainbow as a promise that the entire earth would never be flooded again. The story is deeply meaningful because of its lessons about faith, history, and ethics. It teaches us about God's mercy, the value of life, and the need to protect different species. For Christians, the ark is seen as a symbol that points to Jesus and his role in saving humanity. Even though no one knows exactly where the ark ended up, many people are fascinated by this mystery, especially after several archaeological searches in Turkey. Mount Ararat has been a central point for these explorations. The Noah's Ark Scan project, using modern 3-dimensional scanning technology, found something unusual in the mountains of Turkey. This discovery has caught the attention of both biblical scholars and scientists because of its unique shape, which matches the description of the ark in the Bible. The site was first noticed in 1959 by a Turkish army captain named İlhan Durupina, and since then, it has continued to spark curiosity and research. The team working on the Noah's Ark scan project has outlined a formation in the mountains that closely resembles the biblical description of the Ark. The Bible Archaeology Search and Exploration Institute suggests that the Ark might have come to rest on Mount Ella, a range that stretches from Armenia to Afghanistan. This theory is supported by the discovery of ancient boat wood and sea fossils found at high altitudes in this region. These findings are intriguing because they suggest that these high and remote areas were once covered by vast bodies of water. Such evidence adds weight to the biblical flood story and shows that it's not just important for religious or historical reasons but also for understanding Earth's geological and climate changes over time. If the Noah's Ark scan project's findings are proven true, they could provide a real connection to one of the oldest and most famous stories from the past, blending together faith, history, and science. But there's more to consider. Leonard Simmons, a British soldier, collected many ancient artifacts in Iraq after World War II, including an Assyrian tablet that shows a very different image of Noah's Ark. This ancient piece suggests that the Ark was round, similar to the coracles used on Mesopotamian rivers at that time, designed to handle rough floodwaters. This idea, which dates back 4,000 years, brings a new perspective to the story, indicating that this famous tale might have been influenced by even older flood stories from ancient Mesopotamia. Irving Finkel, a scholar from the British Museum, realized the importance of this tablet and translated it, finding many similarities to the biblical story, including the detail of animals entering the Ark in pairs. This discovery offers more than just a new picture of the Ark. It highlights how humans have been sharing stories and knowledge across generations for thousands of years. Finkel's work on the tablet has led to more research and even inspired efforts to build a replica of the Ark using ancient methods to see if it could really float, although Finkel himself doubts the Ark ever existed. He sees the story more as a powerful legend passed down through time rather than a literal historical event. The story of Noah's Ark goes beyond just being an old tale. It explores themes of salvation, divine intervention, and keeping promises. The Ark is not just a lifeboat but a symbol of God's kindness and a way to salvation, reflecting a larger divine agreement. God chose him and gave him a way to survive the coming disaster, a sign of mercy not just for him but for all living creatures. This story also hints at a bigger promise fulfilled through Jesus, symbolizing God's commitment to humanity. The Ark stands as a symbol of safety and hope in times of trouble. The ongoing exploration and discoveries related to the Ark bring together religious belief with the excitement of finding historical artifacts, helping us understand our shared history and the lasting influence of ancient stories in today's world. The story is more than just a religious tale, it touches people from many different backgrounds and beliefs. It's a story that speaks to the idea of being saved and given another chance, reminding us all of the importance of seeking out the kindness and grace that exists in our lives. The story teaches us about staying true to what is right, being devoted to our beliefs, and recognizing the love and care that a higher power offers us. It's a story that many can relate to, as it speaks to the common human experiences of searching for meaning, hoping for salvation, and seeking guidance from something greater than ourselves. What are your thoughts on the recent findings at the Durupina site? Could this discovery truly be Noah's Ark, or is it just a case of historical wishful thinking? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing discussions.